there is a bit of a misconception going on that missing once means that the game is over. Oh, when you miss the workout, when you don't finish the project on time, right? When there's that skill you've been trying to build, but you miss the next day, that once it happens, everything is over. When the reality is that is simply not the case at all. See, while most people think that, oh, I made one mistake, it's time to call it quits. It's that in and of itself that causes the issue, right? It's not missing or failing that made the mistake, that caused the issue, that derailed you on a negative spiral. Because everybody makes mistakes. We're all human. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's full go 100% 24/7. So why is it that those who are successful, those who've made it to the top, even in spite of their mistakes, that they were still able to get to the point where they're at right now? It's because of the story that they tell themselves after the fact, right? It's what you say, it's not the miss, but the way that your mind derives and extrapolates from it. Think about it like this, right? You see, the reason that this spiral compounds in the first place, that this loss, that this failure results in you losing weeks, sometimes months on end, it's because of this self-defeat talk that you tell yourself. Defeatist talk, right? There's the story that you begin to play, right? These visuals that begin to appear within your head the second a mistake is made. You know, oh, I can't do this. Oh, I'm not cut out. Right? I'm not consistent. Thoughts like these, right? But even worse than that, going down this kind of trail of thinking of, oh, I've already failed, I've already made the mistake, might as well keep going, right? The day's already over, might as well spend the rest of it lying down, procrastinating, scrolling on social media, haha, funny TikTok, funny reel, right? The story that gets portrayed in your head, the play that you are mentally watching as the day goes by, determines how everything is going to play. How fast or how slow, how long you get stuck in this spiral, or how quickly you can snap out of it, right? And again, doing this, right, going through all this negative self-talk, just spiraling out of control, right, it generates a very large amount of resistance, right? You feel like you have to start from zero. Because, again, you were on this streak, you were on the high road, things were going well, right? You were on an upward trend. Let's make the graph. We love graphs, right? This is you. You're on that upward trend, right? You know, things are going good, but then mistake hits, right? You made a mistake, and again, because of that story you tell yourself, when in reality you fell right here, what your brain ends up thinking is that you fell all the way down here. Like, oh my goodness, I lost everything. It's completely over. How in the world am I supposed to get back? What this is creating is a contrast, a difference between your reality and your perception of said reality. And with that perception in place, it makes it very difficult to snap back to where one needs to be, to get back on track, to keep the momentum going. So you don't. You let the ball stop, and then you actually do have to start from zero because you let the spiral go on for so long that it's going to take a while to get back up here. So one needs to ask, well, how exactly am I supposed to get back up to this point? How do I reset myself? How do I stop myself from spiraling out of control in the first place, right? It's very simple. We're going to use something that you know very well. In fact, I'd be very concerned actually if you didn't know what this thing was. The floor. Let me cook. The floor. I want you to look at your feet. If you're laying in your bed, get out of your bed. Good. Now I want you to look down. The floor, right? Now, in the past 10, 20, 30 years, how many times has this floor cracked, broken, split open, completely fall apart? It didn't, right? It's been the same ever since this floor has been built, right? This floor is very stable. The floor is not going anywhere, right? The floor is the foundation. When this foundation is strong, then everything that derives from it, everything that it gets built from it is going to be strong as well. Now, what we need to do here is attack this from two angles. One is there needs to be some kind of system, some kind of preemptive strike when you sense that failure coming or when you're in the midst of it. Oh, I woke up late, so I missed my workout, I didn't get the work block done. The second you catch that, what you need to do is lower the floor or lower your standard. Lower the standard. Whereas what you were originally aiming for might have been 3 hour block, you need to shrink that because right now your brain is not in the state where it's actually able to get that done. And because it realizes, oh, there's no chance I'm getting this done, it's not going to do anything. So very simple, you need to shrink the goal. So 2 hours becomes 10 minutes or 20 minutes. Let's put 10, right? 10, 20 minutes, something small, something so small that it would be very silly of you not to do that thing. Now, what that does is it changes your perception, right? That perception gap that we drew out earlier, that dip where you thought you were when the reality up here, well, it brings your perception back up here. Because now instead of having to go, oh my goodness, I gotta do this thing for 2 hours after I failed, the day's already gone, there's no chance of me getting this done. You mean to tell me you can't sit down for 10 minutes? You mean to tell me that you can't stop what you're doing? 10 minutes of push-ups, 10 minutes of focused work, right? 10 minutes of working on that skill, 10 minutes of finishing this project. You mean to tell me you can't sit down and devote 10 minutes to getting that thing done? If you can't, then just click off the video. This is not for you. But very simple, just make it small, shrink it. Right. And what that's going to do is it raises your perception, making it very easier to get back into the swing of things. Now, your momentum does not get canceled, but you can keep that ball moving. You keep the snowball rolling down the hill. That's angle one. During. But that's not enough. Because again, you might have got 10 minutes in, but the original standard was still like 2 hours, right? And so what that does is going to slightly alter your perception of yourself, slightly alter your identity. So what needs to take place after is the same thing, right? But this time it's going to be a little bit different, right? Again, lowering the standard or having a minimum viable standard. So again, following that same principle, the goal was, 10 hours, 1 to 2 hours, right? Boom. That's the goal again. We're going to shrink it again, 10, 20 minutes. So, same error, right? But this time, instead of having it as a fail-safe, this is going to be your entry point, right? Again, we're shrinking the mental perception of the goal, shrinking the mental perception of what needs to be done in order to count that as a win. So again, just for that next day, next 2 days, the goal is only going to be 10 to 20 minutes. Now, what that's going to do is it's going to lower the activation energy. It's a term in chemistry, right? The energy required to initiate a chemical reaction is always higher than the energy required to maintain it. If you can lower that activation energy via a catalyst, then it's going to be a lot easier to start that reaction. It's going to require a lot less energy overall. What we're doing is lowering the mental energy. Everything is mental. Everything starts up here. The more control you have over your mind, the more control you have over your reality. So we're lowering that activation energy by making it just 10 minutes. Nothing, high tech, nothing fancy, nothing insane. We're just lowering that standard. And when you actually get into that 10-minute work block, it's usually not going to stop there, especially if you're getting it done at the same time you usually would, right? You're going into this 2 hours you've set aside and only aiming for 10 minutes. Right now you've lowered the mental standard and you're actually going to start. And once you start, you're going to enter a work state that will eventually transition into a flow state. Now your brain is sitting down, you're isolated on you and the task at hand. And what you're going to say to yourself is, oh, I'm already here. Might as well just finish it out. I'm already sitting down. I'm already, at the location, right? I'm just going to do the entire thing. And now what you've essentially done, I can draw this here. This is the hill. This is the snowball. Snowball is gaining momentum, but the mistake stops it. What most people do is they let that spiral out of control, then the snowball goes back up here and you have to start all the way over. But using this method, lowering the floor, it's gonna give that snowball a little push, right? It got stopped, but you're just gonna, push it a little bit. Not something grand, not trying to, force its way down, but you're just gonna push it a little bit. And eventually that snowball is gonna keep picking up speed, picking up speed, picking up speed. And then, mistakes, these one-off failures are not going to have as big of an impact on you as they originally did, right? You need to master the floor, right? The second you can isolate the standard, the second you set yourself up with this system is the second you stop spiraling out of control and actually start locking it. So, again, nothing in this video is very complicated. Give it a try. I guarantee you're going to start seeing some success, some movement in the right direction. So hopefully you found some value in this video. Hopefully you realized something new and realize that these failures, right, these little one-off mistakes are not the end of the game, but merely a step in the road that you are going to overcome and eventually get to that point you are trying to get to. Now, if you need help building a personalized system, one that's designed specifically for your life, not the perfect ideal world, but where you are at right now, that's going to allow you to come out of this starting and stopping cycle, then click the first link in the description, book a call with me. Let's see how we can work together. Other than that, check this video here if you want to learn something new, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.